Oftentimes when I stream Pokemon games, I bring up that Pokemon is the highest grossing franchise of all time, because they have absolutely no excuse for making nothing but shitty games for the last 10 years. There's a lot of infographics floating around the internet of the top 10 highest grossing media franchises of all time, where Pokemon is, as I said, firmly number one, and firmly indeed, because they are $10 billion above second place. But recently I found out that the highest grossing media franchise list has made its way to Wikipedia, and that has some really surprising entries on it. Entries you would not expect to have as much money as they do. Entries who generate money from very strange places. And entries that have one thing in common: merchandising. This is probably not surprising to a lot of you out there, especially anyone who's seen the movie Spaceballs. A lot of these franchises gross about 80% of their revenue from merchandising alone. I'm gonna go through the entire top 10 of the highest generating franchises list just to give you an idea of how much is dependent on merchandise, and just to tell you what they are. I think the top 10 is interesting. And then I'm going to comb the rest of the list for ones that stand out to me that I think are fun, goofy, humorous, entertaining, or weird. I'm going to link the full list in the description of this video if you want to check it out, but I would suggest waiting till this video's over because you might spoil yourself, and don't you want to hear it come from my delicious lips rather than look at it with your dry eyeballs? Yeah, that's what I thought. Number one, as I said earlier, is Pokemon, estimated to have made about $100 billion. And merchandising is $76 billion of that. Pokemon, a series with many, many games, multiple animes, multiple movies, and God knows how many other tie-ins, makes 75% of its revenue purely from licensed merchandise. And now factor in all that bootleg third-party what the fuck am I looking at merchandise from way under countries that you've never visited, you sheltered fuck, and think how much money this unstoppable juggernaut makes purely based on the fact that little Timmy wants to have a plushie of Charmander. Or Bulbasaur if he's an idiot. Video games are about $22 billion. The box office for their movies is about $2 billion. Strategy guidebooks, $142 million. That might be the deadest industry I could possibly name off the top of my head. And finally, as listed on here, jet aircraft sales make up $3 million of their revenue. Apparently, the Pokemon jet is an exclusive line of jets sold to Nippon Airways. That's Japan for all you non-weebs. And they have 10 different jets that have been in service since 2001. Again, put this into perspective. Pokemon is such a gigantic cultural force that they have privatized tourist jets and have been making them at a profit for 20 years. Their company is so big that they take a giant hulking slab of metal that flies through the air, slap a couple characters on it, and make bank. Nothing will ever touch Pokemon. Ever. Well, I've seen fan art that says otherwise, but nothing will touch it financially. Next on the list is Hello Kitty. $84.5 billion generated in revenue. Would you like to know how much of that was merchandise? $84.515 billion. Yeah, according to Wikipedia, Hello Kitty's merchandise is so powerful, it's made more money than Hello Kitty. None of that is surprising. What is kind of surprising to me is Hello Kitty feels like a very Japanese-centric thing, but apparently people like the character so much that they blow up all over the fucking world. Winnie the Pooh is number 3rd. Not really surprised there at all. They've got a good handful of movies, long-running TV shows. Of course, you got sales on Blu-ray and DVD and VHS. You got probably on Netflix or something like that. Nope! Who gives a flying fuck? Throw it out the window. Winnie the Pooh's made $80 billion. $79.8 billion is retail. To be fair, that includes things like their books, but it also may or may not include merchandise. Number 4 is Mickey Mouse and Friends. I'm gonna assume that's like the whole Mickey expanded universe. You got like Donald and Goofy, Sora, Link, whoever. Mickey's made $450 million at the box office, $300 million in home video sales, but out of his $80 billion total dollar empire, $79.2 billion is retail, baby. Ooh! Number 5 is Star Wars. Star Wars, probably the most famous and loved movie series ever. You know, it started out in the 70s as like a sci-fi western and it was great. Then it came back in the 2000s as a fucking digital showcase that was awful. And then it came back again because Disney really likes money and strangling things that it owns just a little too hard. You remember that scene in The Last Jedi where Leia was blown the fuck out of the spaceship and she was supposed to die because it would have been a closing to her character and a dramatic character arc for Kylo Ren? But then all the Disney executives started sweating and going, we can't do anything. We can't change the franchise. We can't do anything radical. Make her fly through space like Superman because fuck you. God, I hate new Star Wars. Anyway, Star Wars has made 2/3 of their money from merchandise. If you combine their box office sales and their home video sales and their video game sales and their book sales, it's not even half of how much they've made from merchandising. Number 6 is Disney princesses. You know, it's retail sales. It's merchandise. Buy a little princess gown. No shit. Number 7 is Pan Man. I've never heard of this before looking at this list. Apparently, it's like Japan's #1 children's show. I'm kind of astonished because as far as I can tell from researching it, no one gives a flying fuck about it outside of Japan. But either way, $44.6 billion generated, 44.4 of it from retail. It's apparently about a guy who has like a bean bun for a head, and he just has goofy adventures. Number 8 is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is the first one on this list to not have retail merchandise sales at the #1 spot. Box office, $22 billion. But wait, right under that is merchandise sales at $7.2 billion. Beats home entertainment. More people have bought a plastic shitty replica of Thor's hammer to hang in their man cave to impress their 40-year-old friends than have actually rewatched the movies after getting home from the theater. Number 8 is Mario, and it's actually a pretty big gap, and I think it's understandable. $30 billion in video games, only $4.5 billion in merchandise. That makes sense to me. Number 9 is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which is nearly neck for neck in box office and merchandise sales. $9 billion and $8 billion respectively, although with the fact that the movies are done and there's still a theme park and some other shit happening, who knows? I've got my money on merchandise. Invest now. It's like Dogecoin. You'll lose probably a bunch of money because you bought at the top. Smart guy. All right, now let's point out some interesting ones. The first franchise on this list that doesn't have merchandise listed anywhere is Call of Duty, at $27 billion total, with 22.5 of it being from video games. What do you tell me? People don't want generic Russian grunt number 7 dolls? They don't want to buy the official licensed Ghost Halloween costume? They're not clamoring all over stores for amazing, diverse, memorable characters with personalities that aren't just cookie cutters of each other's. I can't even sleep at night unless I take a shower with my Call of Duty soap brand soap. It'll clean ya. And it's the same product every year, but in a different box. Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually maintains their integrity on what their product was originally designed to be. 16.8 billion sales total, and 9.64 being the trading card game. Merchandise falling behind at 6 billion. I'm actually surprised it's not closer. The Lion King. One of the most celebrated and beloved movies of all time. Who gives a fuck about the movie? It's all about the musical. The Lion King has made $15.4 billion, and half of that is only because of the Broadway musical. The other half is a combination of merchandise, the original movie, home versions of the original movie. The fucking musical's made $8 billion. Oh my Christ. Looney Tunes has $15 billion in revenue, 14.5 of it coming from retail sales. But the most important thing about that stat, of that 14.5 billion, 6 billion of that comes from Space Jam. I don't know how, but I love it, and I need more of that. Here's hoping Space Jam 2 doesn't suck. It will. Dungeon Fighter Online is another interesting one, sitting just below Lion King and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a single video game that's generated $15.3 billion, and is apparently the highest profiting video game of all time. And also has an anime called Slap Up Party. Okay, maybe I'm missing out. Space Invaders is also on the list as a single video game that generated a shitload of money. $13.9 billion, except it's a little different because Space Invaders, that includes all the different re-releases and iterations and ports and this and that. However, they've also made $500,000 on a song called Space Invaders that was released in 1979, designed to tie alongside the video game. Its genre is officially listed as space disco, which is simultaneously the most obsolete and intriguing genre I've ever heard of. I would love to play a clip of the song for you so you could hear what it sounds like, but unfortunately this video would probably get demonetized and blocked worldwide because, as we know, it's going to steal millions of dollars from the people who wrote the original song, and everyone's going to come straight to this video to listen to the song instead of going anywhere else to purchase it. Another interesting one here is the Wii series, not the Wii console, nothing to do with it. The Wii series of video games, Wii Sports, Wii Play, Wii Fit, Wii Party, which is amazing because as far as I can tell, these will never be made again. Down here at the 10 billion mark is Rilakkuma. Rilakkuma. It's this teddy bear. You've seen it on the internet. Anyway, you put its face on stuff and it makes money. A lot of money. Neon Genesis Evangelion has made $9.3 billion in its life, and Evangelion's sales of money come mostly from pachinko machines. A very depressing, literal, cultural shifting anime owes 2/3 of its revenue to the fact that the Japanese cannot stop playing with tiny metal marbles. How much you want to bet right now there's this 40-year-old Japanese salaryman who just got done with a hard day at the office, and he's walking home from work, and he's walking by his local pachinko parlor, and he goes in there, and it's smoky as shit, and it's super crowded, and he goes, which one am I gonna play? Which one's open? What is this? Evangelion? Alright, fuck it. I've heard of it. And he's dropping the marbles in. Who's that? What is this thing? Why are they all crying? Why does this ending suck? I'm out of marbles. Angry Birds is a very surprising one to me because you've got a bunch of phone games and other big games on the list. In fact, not far above it is Candy Crush at $9.4 billion. However, Angry Birds has only made about $1 billion off of the games in the box office. Where does the rest of its $9.2 billion come from? Say it with me. Merchandising. You want another internet creature that's made a shitload of money? Kumamon. You've seen pictures of this thing, $8.22 billion. Everyone knows Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder, can we fuck it? I grew up with a lot of bootlegs. It was created by a man named Keith Chapman, and you would think that Bob the Builder's $5 billion revenue would make him proud. Nope. He also made Paw Patrol, which has made $7 billion. You don't know what Paw Patrol is? Ask a 7-year-old. They'll tell you all about it. Hey, did you know that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has made $6.6 billion in only the 4 years that it's been out? Well, you do now. You think PUBG's a dead game? You think it's too glitchy to matter? You think it was totally usurped by Fortnite and other similar games? No. No, it's made more money than all of them. You know how Minecraft is the best-selling video game of all time with 200 million copies sold? Who cares? They made twice as much money in merchandise sales. Minecraft's made $6.33 billion, and 4.3 of it, merch. The Phantom of the fucking Opera made $6 billion in musical theater. Also, Shrek has made $5.8 billion, and no, none of it is from internet memes. It's from the $3 billion at the box office. And also $46 million from the Broadway musical. That's actually nothing. If the Phantom of the fucking Opera can make $6 billion, why hasn't the Shrek musical reached $1 billion yet? A Song of Ice and Fire, also known as Game of Thrones, has made $4.4 billion, and let me tell you something, the books don't mean jack shit, because TV revenue is where $4 billion of those dollars came from. Also, $125 million came from video game. They had a video game. Was it awful? It was, I'm gonna bet it was awful. And yet, with $100 million more than that, we have Seinfeld. So don't worry, these ratings accurately depict the true champions of television. You remember Yokai Watch? That Pokemon ripoff that was focused more on Japanese spirituality? The one that no one outside of Japan bought or cared about at all? The one that when I say this title now, a lot of you are probably going, Yokai Watch. Is that with the cat instead of the Pikachu, the mouse, those joke? Yeah, it's not so much of a joke. $4 billion. Disney Fairies has $3.8 billion. I don't even know what the fuck this is. Apparently, it's a franchise built around Tinkerbell from Peter Pan. Recurring characters include, oh god, There's like 50 fucking fairies here, and then there's a whole list of non-fairies. Major non-fairy characters. Wow, this is oh my god, there's like 100 characters in this. Fairy Dust Trilogy, Tales of Pixie Hollow, theme park attractions, video games. Alright, Disney's Fairies. For if you're too poor to afford the princess books for your daughter. The Terminator's made almost $4 billion, and I can bet half of that is from all its cameo appearances in video games. I think it's up to video game number 50 this last year. Cats has made $3.64 billion. 3.5 is from musical theater, and 78 million is from the film because there is no God. Skylanders has made $3.5 billion, and only half of that is merch, so I'm extremely confused. Wasn't it a toy line? Oh shit, it had like 6 games. More importantly, how the fuck did Skylanders make any money? Roblox has made $3.37 billion. I guess being able to play it on a library computer is a key to their success. ER has made $3 billion. All of it television revenue. You remember ER? Everyone's favorite show that they still talk about and love, and totally wasn't a product of its time? And everyone couldn't shut the fuck up about how awful it is? Fist of the North Star is on there, making $2.9 billion, one of the most popular and successful and influential animes of all time. Fuck yeah, you better believe every single dollar of that $2.9 billion is from pachinko sales. Oh god, the fucking home video sales and the box office results are like nothing. Thank you, Japanese gambling addicts. The Cosby Show's on there, making $2.5 billion from syndication and advertising. You know who won't be on there in the inevitable remake? Bill Cosby. E.T. the Extraterrestrial is on there at $2.1 billion. It didn't make $1 billion at the box office, no, but it made $1 billion in merch sales, and this one pisses me off for some reason. Am I the only person who hates E.T.? Like, the movie's fine, but he's a disgusting-looking, awful alien from a... I just hate him. I want to kick him. Every time I see him, I want to find the nearest flight of stairs and wonder how many it would take to snap his goddamn skinny neck. Fuck you, E.T. And finally, one that I'm super proud to see is on here, NBA Jam! Boom shakalaka! And those are some more interesting tidbits from the list of the highest grossing media franchises of all time. If I missed something interesting, you can go ahead and let me know in the comments, but don't worry, I picked out everything. I picked it clean like the bones off a carcass. I mean, I never make mistakes after all, just check out the comments on my pizza video. And the next time you're consuming some entertainment, remember that it might be far more profitable than you could ever imagine, but only if it's a video game, if it has merch, or if it supports gambling. Also, check out my Twitch if you want me to yell about more interesting stuff that I think of off the top of my head, or if you like games, or if you like both, or if you don't like it. My view numbers go up even if you hate me. Yay! Bye.